The next Captain America movie. Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me all your money. You owe me all your money, Dan, because that's a jinx.
This is UnpauseIt, the podcast by a family of geeks.
All right, welcome to the UnpauseIt podcast.
Hello. Hi.
Today, we are discussing Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yeah.
And the co-director of this podcast is the dad of I.
It's pretty much he is the director.
Yeah, but to be fair, Steve is almost pretty much over 100 years old, I want to say.
We'll talk about that.
Oh, wait,
We'll get there.
Most of this
Probably
movie
not.
is about him
Close.
not being 100 years old.
Yeah.
we could do some maths later if we need to.
because
We're going to go through Captain America. This was released on July 22nd, 2011. This was 2.5 months after Thor was released, same year. So we had two Avengers movies in the same year when we were getting even years where it skipped. It was a little less filled as far as the docket before Disney bought Marvel and at these earlier, quote, phase 1 days. Mm-hmm. The entire movie process was to get to Avengers, which is why this is called the First Avenger. It is chronologically before any of the other movies, unless you count in Thor when they're 965
Right.
AD or something like that.
We had talked about that at the beginning of this. If
Right.
we were going to do this in chronological order, release order, we went with release, and now here we are.
Yeah, release order is when we're watching things. This opened up 6 weeks or so after Thor, and nothing after that one. So Captain America First Avenger opening weekend was $65 million. Solid. Budget on this one was $150 million. When they get to phase 2, the budget's ballooned to $200 million plus or so.
Wow.
It made $176 million domestically, $370 million worldwide. So it made its money back.
I don't understand a word he just said.
So it's just lots of money. So for the kids who are listening and for the kids at this table, basically we're talking about it. Like, how was this movie received? So when a movie comes out, people will go to the box office and buy tickets, right? Black Panther is out right now, is it not?
No,
Yeah.
February.
Oh, but tickets are on sale.
Yeah.
Tickets are on sale, but they won't hear anything until opening.
Well, and I did hear that this is the biggest pre-sale of tickets that they've had for any Marvel movie thus far.
Oh, so they're going fast. Because Ragnarok was that way too. Ragnarok had a lot of pre-sale.
But when we talk about these dollars, this is when people are buying the movie tickets to go see the movie. So if it's bigger dollars, it means more people said, I want to go see it, and most likely, I want to go see it again. So maybe
Right.
in the future we could talk about, like, in the context of how many PS4 consoles you could buy with that much money, it would be a lot. And
Okay.
more as you got.
To make this numbers kid-friendly, what we're saying is with the opening week box office weekends, that's more for maybe the adults listening to. The kids can zone out for a moment. But my illustrating point was that they got more and more popular. And these characters, especially Captain America, were introduced here. And it was a strong introduction. And I think this means that a lot of people bought the DVD or Blu-ray or watched it at home on Netflix or whatever and said, oh, I like these. Maybe didn't go see it in the theaters, and that's why we're talking about it now.
Money talk done. Let's go.
So we're talking about technical specs. This was directed by Joe Johnston, who also directed like The Rocketeer, and he does a lot of good period movies, if you will.
A period movie. Do you guys know what a period movie is?
Set in the past.
That's one that's like, oh, it takes place in a decade other than this.
Right.
Yes.
We have Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. We have Chris Evans as the Captain America. James Buchanan, Bucky Barnes. We have Hugo Weaving as another strong Marvel villain.
Totally.
I am pushing that we have strong Marvel villains.
He is. I sense the trend.
Right. Nick Fury in a scene that we'll talk about when we get to the back scenes there. We have Tommy Lee Jones in a great role in this one. Did not phone it in. It was a really kind of a role developed just for his type of thing.
Who else did you mention? Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci is, I was going to leave that to you.
Yes, Stanley Tucci is one of the best character actors out there. He's the guy who plays the Dr.
Who's the doctor?
Elson?
Erskine.
Erskine, thank you.
Doctor, which doctor?
He's the guy who sees Steve saying he just wants to go fight, and he's the one who interviews him for that medical, and then he's like, no, I'll give you one chance. And he's the one who actually developed Steve into the super soldier. So that was one of my, I think, the strongest additions to this, and he's not even in the whole movie. He's just in a part of it.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so these characters are strong, but we're going to start with the Lady Disdain here and introduce yourself to the podcast now that the technical specs are over.
I am Lady Disdain, Disdain with a Y. That is my Twitter handle, and I am the mother of this family unit and the editor of this podcast.
I'm the sauce.
What's your first name? I didn't say my first name.
You don't have to say it first. How old are you, the sauce?
I was going to say 256.1.
But instead...
But then something occurs to me. Better. 11.
11. I think the next time you don't say your age, you lose a week's worth of Overwatch.
No.
Oh, that's mean.
No,
That's cold.
No,
Yeah.
not while I'm director. I'm 9.2 and I'm Furious Girl. Goodbye.
Furious Girl, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Furious Girl with a 0 and 7.
And you are?
I am underscore the dad abides. I am not 11.
Not 11.
He doesn't even know his age.
I don't even remember
It
anymore.
feels like he kind of waffles between 41 and 42. I think you are indeed 41.
Probably.
42.
That involves math, and that's not my strong suit.
47. No,
He's
mind.
40-tween.
47. 47.
I'll be 40 until I turn 50, and then I was just 50 until I turn
Yeah,
60.
it goes by decade. Just round up.
Yeah, there we go. So, the sauce, superpowers. Let's talk about this real quick.
Okay.
Because this is an interesting one, right? Because we have another origin story. We have a Thor origin story, Iron Man, and now Captain America origin story with this going on. Let's talk about his superpowers.
So he's just a regular kid from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Until he wants to join the army, he wants to help. Until he becomes really buff.
He becomes super strong, right?
Yeah.
How does this happen, Furious Girl?
He goes into a machine and kabam.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, his superpower is he doesn't have a superpower. It's science.
That's truth, Willis.
Well, there we go.
Oh wait. But if I had to say he had a superpower, I would say he's Captain America. Like Thor, he needs no explanation.
He's brave.
Hi.
He is so, and the movie covers this, he's so bent on going and fighting and doing his part for his country and fighting for people who can't fight, even though he is one of the people that can't fight at the beginning. He tries 5 different times to go overseas and be taken into the draft, but they're like, no, you're too weak. So his bravery, I think, is a superpower, and I think that gets alluded to by the doctor when he tells him why he was chosen.
Right. So we're not going to get into spoilers on that part of it. You need to watch the movie. It makes it a good interaction between Stanley Tucci and Captain America. But yeah, his superpower comes from the serum that was put in there, and that is as far as referenced in Hulk, the Super Soldier Program.
Yes, that was the
This
beginning of it.
is what that was. They didn't know they were going to make a Captain America. They wanted to, but they didn't know it was actually.
They were going to make many Captain America. They were like going to make many super soldiers, and he was the test subject.
Well, I'm talking about the movie.
Yeah.
So when they were making Hulk, they didn't know that the movie was going to be made, but they were hoping that was going to be made. So that's why I had, they were alluding to it that way. So the superpower is that he's strong. He heals. Leads into the opening of the movie and everything, and the very end of the movie as well. It was described that he is the most elite Olympic athlete. That's his physique.
Yeah.
But he also can heal. But then we can see him grow into more strength. He's not as strong as Hulk. He's not as strong as Thor. But he has an ability that's much more strong than the normal human. Do you have something to say about this one?
I was gonna say his healing power is called cellular regeneration. Basically, all
Right.
regeneration in the DC and Marvel comics and everything is called cellular regeneration.
Because that's a real
Yeah,
term.
because science.
That's a real thing.
Yeah,
That's a Wolverine thing.
Yeah, so basically his cells heals too fast for him to, he has a bloody nose. He doesn't get it. He heals too fast.
Right.
But it also allows him to not get drunk. Because what does alcohol do to your cells again?
Well, the cellular regeneration, he can drink as much. There's something that happens in the movie, and he tries to drown his sorrows. Understandably so, can't do it.
Can't get drunk. And he has to eat what Agent Carter at one point says, well, your metabolism, which we talked about, it's how fast you burn food, how fast your body burns through food. So you eat something in the morning and how fast it takes for your body to process that. He's 4 times faster. So he probably has to eat as 4 times as much as you, the sauce.
Oh,
But if he doesn't eat it, his
that's
body
a
still
lot.
regenerates.
That's
Maybe
a lot of food.
3 times.
Do you guys remember, this gets talked about in the Avengers, which I think that's the next movie. one thing Tony Stark winds up saying to the Hulk is like, that much, he goes through gamma radiation. He says that much should have killed you. You kind of wonder, they don't use gamma radiation, obviously.
They use something called Vita rays, which is something very 40s serial comic book Flash Gordon type thing.
That's right. But you wonder if that's part of his power, too. Is it that he was able to survive? Because remember, that was a pretty traumatic moment when they're actually making him the super soldier and he's screaming. But he's like, no, I can do this. You're like, is he going to live through this? And he does. But could anybody have done that? You kind of wonder.
You kind of wonder. But he had the serum. Banner had the serum in him, and the gamma radiation is what made Hulk come out with that serum. But without the serum, he probably would have died. So we're not going to do, quote, weaknesses, because he's human after all still. He's superhuman, if you will, super soldier. But if you shoot him in the face, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't survive that.
I'm pretty sure. I think that's true.
Unless he holds up a shield, sir.
That's why he has a shield. But vulnerabilities. We're going to go on that. That's more of a what makes him vulnerable on this one. And this movie doesn't really have that kind of thing. But I want to talk about before he goes through the serum.
What?
How vulnerable was he? How weak was he before he had the serum? And I want to talk about the transformation. And did you guys believe that was Steve Rogers when he was a little guy?
Go, Georgia.
Now that I think of it, he actually does have a superpower, which is his brain, because, no one could get the flag, but he just broke the pole.
Right. So all of these super macho guys were running, and he's got asthma. He's tiny. He weighs 90 pounds, and he's in his mid-20s. Willis, you almost weigh 90 pounds now. So he's just about a little bit bigger than you.
Right.
Has a heart murmur. Has all those other things. You see the whole list of things when he gets the 4F designation from his doctor's like, I'm going to save your life. And he just wants to go help.
And his vulnerability thing of a bop is that he couldn't really run fast. He could jog so he would basically run, but an average person would just be jogging for that speed.
Yeah, he's slow.
Yeah, slow, small.
Until he becomes Captain America.
Right.
Then he's faster than, the fastest one in the army.
He's faster than he can handle.
Yeah.
Right. That's a funny scene. But what do you kids think about when he is that small? Is it believable? It's about a half hour.
It looked like
half hour of the movie. He is not big. He is.
Could you guys tell that they were doing any special effects there? It looked like a little person, right? And it just had his face.
Well, we're going to go down to some major battles. There's tons of major battles,
Oh,
right?
boy.
Do any of you have one that just pops out of your mind?
Oh, yes.
Tesseract.
The last one? The very last battle? Or which
The
one?
Tesseract one, when it's in the village thing.
Oh.
I don't think that was a battle.
That is a battle.
That's
the thing. That's why this has lots of... It's during World War II. It's a war movie, set during a war time. So there are a lot of battles that don't involve Captain America.
Yeah, so describe that one. What happens in that one? Is that Dr. Schmidt?
Yes, and he finds a fake, and then he finds the real one.
And he takes it.
It's a pretty dramatic scene.
Hi.
Without getting too over it. Yeah, but that stuck out into your head. It had the Yggdrasil.
And
Yes.
there also was this little thing so you could see that he could take off his skin, because there was this little thing that was it had red marks all over it right behind his
Yeah, you and
ear.
I noticed that during watching. Do you have a comment about this battle?
Well, I have a comment about the major battle.
Okay,
We'll come back. We'll
hold
come
it.
to you in a second. Right down.
I want to point out, because the Databytes just said this. Yggdrasil, do you guys remember that? Where Thor is drawing the tree of the world?
Yes, and there was a tree of the world on the
Yeah!
wall.
I love that they tied that in. So he's explaining to Jane Foster, so there's a tree of the world that has Jotunheim, Asgard, all these other planets.
Tree of the universe.
The tree of the universe, the realms. But then you see that tree on the wall, and that's where the Tesseract is hidden in that wall.
Right. Now,
So cool.
here's a fun little fact. That village that was destroyed by the Red Skull, and that's Schmidt, he's the Red Skull, is the same village that was in the Thor flashback when they had the Frost Giant battle there.
Oh,
That's the same village.
Wait, it is?
Yes.
Apparently.
Reading trivia on these movies is something I do a lot.
So remember in Thor when you hear Odin talking about, the frost giants came to Earth and tried to dominate it, and you see them come in and they freeze like that mom and that daughter freezes that village. Same village as this village. Isn't that cool?
Well,
Creepy.
Right.
no one would know. Like, no one would know that if they just watched the movie and not
No,
the trivia.
you kind of have to put together, like watch them back to back and look at it.
Because it says the village name, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So your major battle, the sauce.
The first thing that comes, well, the first few things, when I think Captain America, the first thing I think about is that fight in the Hydra base where the base commits suicide.
Oh,
He
self-destructing the
destructs
base.
Yeah.
He destroys the base.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
but then while I'm thinking about it, then I go back to the airship.
Can we focus on the...
well, no, this is a good point.
Okay.
Because that first battle was a small one-on-one between Red Skull and Captain America before Captain America had established his fighting skills, if you will, had practiced in the field of battle, really.
Yeah.
And then it ends, the movie does end with a climactic battle between the Red Skull and Captain America.
Good point.
So those two scenes right there kind of come across each other. How about you?
I really do like Cap saving the prisoners. This kind of pings off what the sauce was saying. That I love when Steve, he's his first time actually being able to go overseas, but he's Captain America, the kind of, poster boy for war bonds. And all the soldiers are like, whatever, dude, we're fighting battles, you're lame. And he's just so like, that's what I want to do too, but I'm stuck. And I love that Peggy's like, that's really all? Your only choices are to be this guy, on stage or to be a lab rat. And I think that he finally, this is his first foray to say, I'm going to make my own thing happen and you're not saving these guys. I'm going to go save them. And so he goes one-handed, becomes Captain America and goes in and saves all of these prisoners, right? And gets them out. And the Dad Abides made a really good point. Did you guys see? So when Red Skull is seeing on the cameras, he sees Captain America fighting and beating all of his men. And right in that moment, he's like, well, we might as well give this whole thing up because he's going to we're overpowered.
Our forces are
overpowered
outmatched.
by one guy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Our forces are outmatched.
You, what do you got?
When Captain America is going through, he memorizes the map so he knows where to go. And he didn't really single-handedly sing about
Fight the whole
get
base.
the prisoners out because Howard Stark and Peggy were
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they got him close.
Flew him in the
Yes.
plane?
Yeah.
and then the bomb started happening and that's when he jumped and things happened.
Well, I remember you asked, too. You're like, how did he know where to go? And he basically had seen the map and he had a compass. And that's it. And he got himself to that base to go save those guys, right?
Right, and that's kind of explained later on when he's in the base and he sees that map and it's like, oh, it's about here, 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 here. I only gotta look, and everyone's like, oh, okay.
Nobody's
well,
perfect, I guess.
They're kind of making some comments on that, but you're right. He did have help, so he's fighting in this one. Schmidt says we're overmatched. He could have probably taken it all himself if he was that kind of guy, but he's empowered, basically said, give him hell all the way out to the soldiers, and they did.
I did kind of steal off of the sauce for that battle. I also do like the whole lab battle. Right after he becomes Captain America, there's a battle there where that infiltrator blows up the thing, shoots the doctor, and takes off. And you see Steve. First of all, you see Agent Carter. Let's just talk about that.
Sharpshooter with a 9mm.
Sharpshooter with a 9mm, and she goes out basically and takes out the driver of that car speeding away.
And it was like,
You're like, dang!
oh.
She was not scared, and she was in control.
And she was ready to get run over by that car. She's like, I'm going to get you. But then Steve saves her. But then he goes and takes off to run that guy down. Did you guys love the little kid in the water?
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite scenes.
Okay, we'll get back to there. Now you can go ahead, and those are battles. There's so many battles in here. We're going to go to favorite scenes here in a moment. But here is a little bit of trivia, and this is what I knew about Stanley Tucci. I saw a little interview with him. He took this role because he was given the opportunity to speak with a German accent, and he always wanted to play a role with a German accent. Because Stanley Tucci's American, by the way.
Have a German accent.
Yeah, he does really get in there. And I'm reading here a little bit of trivia.
Yes.
That Haley Atwell based her performance as Peggy Carter on Ginger Rogers.
Aww.
Which works, and we were talking about this. I was going to bring this up about that shooting scene.
Yeah.
She can do, quote, everything Captain America can do, but backwards and in high heels.
Word.
So she is just as strong as Wilt She's certainly not physically strong, but she's definitely a sharpshooter, and she's not a bad soldier, and she's like Coulson, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, yeah. So
That's
now we
a
can
good-
see where she's coming from there. But if you notice how the movie is done, she is attracted to Steve when he's a 90-pound weakling.
Yeah, because she sees the potential there that there's more to him.
It's the strong man inside the weak body that she was, felt attracted to. But we're not going to talk about that because this is a kids podcast and the kids get grossed out by anything
Did
like
you
that.
have a favorite battle?
They're all my favorite battles, but I would say the favorite battle would be the two that the Sauce did. Because you saw him go one-on-one with Schmidt when he took his... And that's when we get the reveal of the Red Skull.
Yeah.
And it's the special effects are amazing as well. And he dents the shield, the pre-Captain America shield. So this was based on the original one from the 40s in the
Right.
comic books there. And then Captain America just hits him and he knocks him back. And, his little henchman pulls it and separates him and everything, whatever. But that was a good precursor. And Bucky's like, I'm not leaving without you. Like,
Yeah.
And that precursor, that's
Good old Bucky.
for the next movie, Winter Soldier. But we are going to go skipping over the Stanley cameo right into the favorite scenes.
Ah. He gets to pick who goes first.
What's your favorite scene, Georgia?
Nothing.
You don't like this movie,
What?
huh?
I hate it.
How? What?
Aw.
Okay.
Tough crowd.
Well,
tough crowd.
Critic. You don't like Thor. You don't like Captain
It's okay.
America.
No,
Who
she
are
ha-
you? Where's Georgia?
No. She's entitled to not like the
So you
movies.
have
It's okay.
zero favorite scenes, zero scenes in there that you liked at all. That's fair enough.
My total favorite scene is the dummy grenade. I love that moment when
He's still skinny.
yes, when is it the colonel? Is he a colonel?
General.
Tommy Lee General. I think you're right. When he's talking, he was like, "Come on, why are you thinking about Rogers? He's skinny. He's a little wimp kid. Why didn't you pick that other guy? He's a soldier."
Harsh.
And the doctor's like, "Well, he's a bully, and I'm not thinking of anybody else. Steve is the obvious choice." So and this just totally follows this line of he keeps going up against these tests, and this is a test, and the general takes a grenade. Makes it so it won't explode, and then he throws it and says, "Grenade!" And the whole little group there, everyone except Steve, dive for cover, and he puts his body on it, which is what a brave soldier would do in battle, because they say, "Hey, I will die and take the brunt of this grenade going off so nobody else dies," and that's what he was going to do if that grenade had been live, and that made him pass the test. It was no more a question saying he's the guy.
Okay. Sauce.
So, I love it when I also like he's still skinny. So basically, General's talking with the doctor.
Oh, Stanley teaches that character. Okay,
Yeah,
Christy.
and he pulls the pin.
Right.
I think it was an active grenade that was going to be filled with gunpowder later or something.
I think it was just props for people to carry so that when they're running, they could carry the weight of a grenade and get used to it.
Yeah, yes. Grenade!
Right.
And is this a test? He's still skinny. My other favorite scene is he takes the kids hostage right after he kills Dr. Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Steve goes after him like, don't do it! So the kid in the water, and Steve's about to dive after him, but then the kid's like, no, go get him. I can swim.
Yeah.
then
The kid's like, yeah, take care of this guy.
I can swim!
The
You're like-
kid wasn't scared either.
Now the kid's like, "No, I got it. Go."
I can swim, good sir.
So you've done yours. One more.
After Steve is chosen, right after that dummy grenade seed, the bunkhouse is just the Doc and Steve, and the Doc explains to him why he picked Steve.
Right.
Oh, so good.
And that's good on a couple levels. That's good on a story level, emoting. It's got comedy. What? No fluids. What, drink it later, drink it now. I don't have procedure.
But and just talking about bullies and why, a strong man doesn't value the power that he has.
Right. But that lends also to Schmidt's backstory, too.
Yes.
So we get to see a little bit of why Schmidt is the way he is through that interface right there. And I think that's something other Marvel movies could take. It's like, don't need to have a whole backstory and then another backstory.
But I did like, too, so Steve's running after that guy, and he's like, okay, wait a minute, I can go faster than I've ever gone before. And you see him pour it on, and then he goes around that corner, whoa. And Hodge, while he's in the same group that doesn't get picked, he's not one of the people that gets picked, he's a finalist, kind of, to be a super soldier. He does appear later, he's in the 107th, remember? He's
the one.
He's at the base where Steve's trying to be like, hey guys, we're all on the same side. And they're like, whatever, we've been fighting. You get off of here and put the girls back on the stage.
Yeah, he was the heckler when he was at the base.
Yes, we know.
So I want to go through the very beginning where can we start craning out? Like, you don't understand. And there's two SHIELD agents, looks like, or agents of something that go in there. I'm going to say right now, during my favorite scenes rundown, that should have been Coulson doing that.
I agree. And there was a moment
There was
I'm
an
like,
opportunity
is
for that.
And that's not Coulson. That would have been
But
cool.
it isn't Coulson. Going back to Gilmore Hodge, the Peggy punch.
When she lays him out.
Yeah, totally. The grenade test, I wrote that down as well. So the grenade test is one of our ones that stick out. But then when Bucky's like, not without you. And then we have the montage, because even Rocky had a montage of all the warriors and everything, the battle soldiers going with Captain America, and he's killing bad guys. He's killing Hydra and Nazis, doing soldiery things, which are not very pleasant, and kind of lose track of that because he's such a good guy, if you will. I think that montage is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Riding his motorcycle, looking out for his enemies. When he's doing the little movie thing and opens it up, his compass or watch, whatever that was, and there's a little picture of Peggy in there.
Oh, yeah.
And Peggy's sitting next to the general, and she's just like, the look on her face was amazingly...
General's like...
And the general's like,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah, that was a nice human touch to this movie. I really liked those scenes there. But as far as some of my favorite scenes, it is one of that battle scenes where the Red Skull takes his face off and it doesn't come back on again. And he always had gloves on. His entire body was red, apparently.
It was because he was wearing shoulder necks.
He always wore
Right.
gloves. You're right. He covered
Wore gloves
every
the
other
entire movie.
inch.
But that's one of my favorite scenes. But we'll talk about that villain, the Red Skull.
So Red Skull being the villain against Steve Rogers, Captain America in this. I feel like they've done that in every movie. So if you think about, Iron Man, you've got Tony Stark. He's against Obadiah in the first movie, and that's kind of his counterpart, like the other person who'd be controlling the company.
Right.
You've got Hulk goes up against the Abomination, his counterpart, another guy who
Blonsky,
took the
yes.
serums. Yes. Then you've got Iron Man 2, again, another counterpart, a son of a genius who helped, was with his father and son kind of thing, going against it. And then even Thor, he's going up against his brother, a counterpart to him who's could be another heir to the throne. I feel like they really created a nice balance here where now we've got Red Skull, who could have been what Steve was he not crazy and power hungry and tried the serum. He was such in a rush. Remember the doctor says, well, the serum wasn't ready. Plus, he was a really bad guy.
Yeah.
So I feel like I think they did a really good job with Red Skull. He was scary and you're like,
Right.
crazy.
So we're talking about him as a villain. He's a strong villain. So what do you kids think about Red Skull? Too scary, Georgia? No.
I think Red Skull is, in my opinion, not a very good actor.
What? Hugo Weaving is amazing.
Why don't you think he's a good actor? I'd like to hear.
I forget.
Just your general impression.
Yesterday I knew it was a bad actor somehow.
Okay, well, Hugo,
Didn't like the
if you're
accents?
listening, what can we say?
I think it was a strong villain. So the Furious Girl did not enjoy this movie. This is probably my second favorite Avengers MCU movie. It was my favorite Marvel movie until another Marvel movie came out, and I'll tell you what that Marvel movie is when we do that Marvel
Winter
movie.
Soldier.
I think he just dropped that one.
Yep.
There's something that when Captain America is picking out the shield thing, and there's the options. Stark says that Hydra's not going to use knives, like pocket knives, but they did.
They use pocket knives?
Right. So
Yes.
it's like, he's talking about the armor that he was going to do. Yeah, this, carbide steel, like it'll, deflect even the hardest bayonet.
Oh,
We're not going to use
yeah.
knives. But then he's on the Valkyrie. The guy pulls out a knife.
That's true. Good
call.
point. Dang, I
You're
didn't even
welcome.
notice that.
We're going to talk about the end credit scene. He's punching it.
What'd you think of that?
Are you here to give me the real world? I'm here to save it. Furious Girl.
0 out of 16.
So you don't like the end credit scene. How about you, the sauce? Remember, he's like punching it, and then they go into like, this is, and they
It's
show
really short.
a clip from the Avengers. It was like an Avengers trailer.
I know. I remember it. I don't remember my rating, but I don't think I liked it.
That's a good enough rating for everybody.
I don't think I liked it.
It's fine. I mean, it's so short. It's so short. And all you do is just see him and Nick Fury, and they're, okay, there's a new mission coming ahead. And it really is just like, okay, and this will get us into a trailer for the next movie, The Avengers.
Which is what they did. It was that little thing, and he punches the thing down, get into it, and then you don't have to be. I mean, I am Iron Man when it was Nick Fury. It wasn't shorter than that, But that was short.
But it didn't leave you going, oh.
The problem was that they went into the Avengers. It was a trailer that they could have just done.
Yeah.
Just released it. It is the worst one of the MCU movie end scenes.
Agreed.
It is the worst one.
It's like they're like, we're kind of lazy and just do it.
So we're going to go over overall rating. I have given this movie 9 out of 10 red dresses.
Oh, of course it's red dresses. It's Agent Carter. You guys, if you don't know, we love pop vinyl little figurines around here. And one Christmas I got you a pop vinyl of Agent Carter.
A bobblehead
red
pop
dress.
vinyl, Agent Carter. No, it was from the Peggy Carter TV show. She
Yeah,
has a
it's
red
her
hat.
outfit, but it's a red hat.
Yeah, it's a red hat, different blue outfit.
But that does speak to that because she has a red dress and obviously turns heads.
Right, it stops the whole thing. Like, everyone's singing. They're like, oh, hey, whoa,
Hey,
what?
baby.
And it was cool. And she only wore that just to tell Captain Rogers, let's get to war. You know, turning heads. And she was like telling him, was like, after the war is over, we're kind of a thing. Kind of letting him know in no uncertain terms, really. Because she's like, oh, he's kind of an idiot when it comes to women because he was so inept about it. I'm going to be not subtle.
Right.
Furious Girl, give me a rating.
6 out of 10 red thingies.
Red
dresses.
dresses.
8.7.
8.7.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
10
10 out of 10. So now this is not a rating on how good the movie was, the editing, the lighting, quality of the movie.
Really? Because
This
that's
is,
what I rated it.
this is on a movie and how much we like them.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. This is how much we like this movie, not how good the movie is. Because, you know, you could really love a very bad movie.
Truth. All
Or you
right.
could really hate a really good movie.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like Georgia does to the last 2 movies.
Like me, and I really do not like E.T.
Wait, what's ET? Like a space
Oh, you guys haven't seen it. I'm not sure.
Wait, little
Yes, I have.
Wait,
Okay, you have, huh?
wait, the little monster guy. ET?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Elliot
the
and
red
phone.
finger.
Yeah, that sucks.
Anyway,
Good.
half-hour screen time. Okay, the sauce. What is your
for
half-hour
this-
screen time?
This is for this next week. What do you?
Coming up, what do you want to do this next coming week?
I wrote a question mark because I have no idea.
I just downloaded Microsoft Java on your laptop.
I know.
So probably some Minecrafting both at the half-hour
Yeah,
concurrently for the
maybe
kids.
some Zelda or some.
We'll see. Play it by ear every day, right? Because last week you were like, I'm not going to have my half-hour, and you went to bed at 4:30.
Yeah. Basically.
Truth.
Didn't I go to bed at like 3 once?
No, not quite that early, but I think you've probably grown an inch in this last 7 days.
At 3 a.m. once.
Oh, that was on New Year's Day, though.
I know.
What is your half-hour screen time plan?
Hi Pickle. It's a server that's on the Java edition Minecraft. It's called Hi Pixel, but I call it Hi Pickle. Just like this place.
As a parent here who really likes the Captain America movie, 9 out of 10 red dresses, I had to like go back and write notes after the fact because I was just too busy watching the movie and I hadn't seen it many times. The kids, not so much, but the special features on the Blu-ray really appeal to the kids a lot better, especially the Coulson one.
Totally worth it.
The next movie is going to be driven by the sauce.
Yeah!
It is the Avengers.
Yeah!
This is the first time in cinematic history that we are not getting movies, we are getting TV shows as movies.
Yeah!
Which is why, after Joss Whedon exits, Soldier guys, the Russo brothers, their TV background. The TV background works better on this because they're able to kind of more serialize what's going forward.
True.
So next week, we're going to watch the Avengers and see these great epic battle scenes come together, and the sauce will be leading us home.
Good job. All right. Well, thank you, kids. Thank you, guys, everybody. That was quite a lot of double heading going on.
Good
and
day,
we'll see
sir.
you next time.
Good day, sir. I said
Bye.
good day.
I'll see you next week.
Saucy.
Follow UnpauseIt on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, or visit us online at unpauseit.com.